Okay, so today we're going to be working on this little Ariens snowblower, snow thrower. Yeah, it's been sitting for a minute, gentleman said, and that. Yeah. Let's try to start it, see if it's got spark, all that good stuff. Okay. The spark boot off. Just gonna go ahead and see if she's got spark real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and dim the lights. Let's rock and roll. Okay, let's see if we got spark. Okay, we got spark. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. Got spark, right? All right, let's put a little something down into the cylinder and see if we got any kind of popping, any kind of ignition. We'll put some little two-stroke mixture in there. Let's check out this plug too. Hold on now. Well, goodness, how long is it? Okay, there it is. Yeah, she's a little wet and a little nasty looking there. Clean that up a little, but let's put some of that two-stroke in there and see if we got any kind of popping. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay, let's go after that carburetor. Well, I forgot to press record. Just been taking these 10mm bolts out. There you go. Get this one off. There's a 10mm over here. I believe we might have to get this heat shield off. I have not worked on one of these yet. This is the first, but they're pretty much all the same. Alright. Let me get that off and this off, and then we'll dig into that carb. Here. There we go. Now we got to get to these. What else is holding? Oh. Oh boy, oh boy. Don't you love when they do this? Why in the world would you want to do that to somebody? Look at that thing back there. Oh goodness. Okay. There we go. Go ahead and lift up on this here. There you go. There. Okay, we got our kill wire here. I'm just gonna unplug it from the back. If I can. Actually, there's a 10mm bolt right there. I can just unhook that. That looks like a ground. And I bet you that whole thing will come right off of there. I know, I keep saying 10mm, it's 3/8. Alright. There's our carb. Disconnect this primer. There you go. Where's this one? There's another electrical connection down here. You know what? We're just going to lay that to the side. It's okay. That's not a problem. We'll just lay that whole thing to the side. There you go. Now we can get at that little carburetor. Tucked all up in there. Just to make things interesting. Let's do a little sample, if you will. That bottom bolt here. What is going on with my ratchet wrench? There it goes. Okay. See what kind of fuel that we're working with here. It doesn't look that bad. But let's see if there's any water at that or anything. Let's see if the fuel shutoff is working inside here. Yep. Okay. Turn it back on. There you go. Okay. Okay. Got one off. Get the other off real quick. Got that little plate there. Okay. This other little plate. Alright. Might have to get that little heat shield out of the way. Another show you real quick. You gotta get those bolts out for this little heat shield here. Okay, and then this here can come off, and then we'll extract that carburetor. This little heat shield out of the way, and then this go forward a little bit, and then out with that. Okay. Now this one can come out, the carb, but before we do that, we know that the shutoff is working properly, so we're just going to go ahead and disconnect the fuel line right away from the carburetor. Tight quarters in the shop. Got all kinds of projects going on. There we go. Yeah. Now that you got that out of the way, let me zoom in. Now that you got your fuel line out of the way, this is very important. So when you're sliding this out, these are turning right here. So if you turn this, hold this like this straight, you can get that first one off of there. Then very carefully, because these things, they break very easy, these springs, very carefully take that spring right there. Go ahead and extract that carburetor. Okay, let's get it on the bench. Okay, we got it on the bench. Let's get this bowl off. Boy, that was tight. Why was that so tight? Don't be playing no games. All right. Okay. Let's see what the bowl looks like. Well, I got a little bit of macaroni in there. It only takes a little bit because these little jets are just, they're just small, Just little baby jets. Why is there a jet missing? Oh, no. No, because this one's longer. Okay. Okay. Had to go find my favorite screwdriver for jets. This is my favorite one. Okay. Make sure it's in there nice and neat and even. Give it a good, there we go. Yeah, sometimes they can be a bear. Yeah. Sometimes. Like this one's kind of sticking. They do that sometimes. They do. They stick. That one's right there. That one's right there. I'll give it a little bit of a shove. Sometimes you can go in that little hole there. Take a little pick. Kind of persuade it out. Don't bend it too much. Just kind of persuade it out a little. All right, let me work on this a little bit. As soon as I shut the camera off, it popped out of there. Okay. Well, we are going to put our little bits inside the basket here. There's our bowl. What else we got here? Our gasket looks okay. I'm not going to try to take it all the way off because I don't have that particular gasket. It doesn't look all that old and nasty. But this is concerning here. That's the reason why we got to put it in the machine to clean it out. Okay. Now, we'll take this out. Okay. We won't put that in the machine, and we won't put this one in the machine, but we will open it up because there's a screen in there and a little jet that needs to be cleaned out. But you want the cleaning cap chemical to get down inside here too. All right, we are ready to ultrasonic this. Put a little jet in there. Put our carb in there. Put our nasty old bowl in there. And yeah, let's get to cooking. Look how cloudy. And it's got water in it. See it on the bottom? Bunch of water in that fuel too. So yeah, gotta get that old gas out of the tank or all this is for nothing. All right, all nice and clean again. Go ahead and put our needle and float on. Put our pin in. There you go. All right. Now, let's get our jet in there. Make sure that it's nice and clear. Yep, nice and clear. There we go. Before we forget, let's get our other part in there. Make sure it snaps in there all the way down to its seats there. Then you can just put this little, this thing is just to keep it in there, you know. So, and for there, but we can kind of eyeball it. There you go. All right, so let's get this back together. Everything looks good. Okay, let's get it back on the machine. Make sure that this portion right here is on this side for your fuel inlet. Okay, line up your base there of your carb. Make sure that it gets, there you are. Okay, now you're halfway on. So you go ahead and turn this, bring this out a little bit more, turn this like that, and then you can drop that down in there like that. Now there's a little hole here. I don't know if you've seen that or not earlier. There's a little hole right there where this little hook spring goes inside there. So we're going to carefully do that now. Turn. Take your time with this part. Like I said, these springs are very delicate. So what I do, I just do it by hand. So I'm not introducing any kind of metal object to it. There you go. Okay. Now, go ahead and hook up your fuel line while you're right there. There. Then you want to get your, well, let me clean this up a little bit. Let me clean that up. Look how nasty that is. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and put this shield on there. There we go. I'm going to put this on there. There we are. Okay. Then we will put these inserts on, like so. Okay. There we go. Alright, moving right along. Let's flip this heat shield back up. Alright, so next we're going to be working on that little heat shield back there. Now, it's going to be a little tricky because there's kind of a spring action to this little bracket here. If I can get my hand in there to show you real quick. These don't line up all the way until you move this here. So you got to kind of like do it, hold it right here, and then do it at the same time here. There you go. It fell down in there. All right. There we go. Okay. Now we can take our ratcheting wrench and get in there and get that down. We've got to hook up our little line here to there. Line up our bolts here. They look like they're all the same size. So let's just line these holes up here. There we go. Just going to hand tighten those for right now because you need a little bit of wiggle room so you can get your other bolts in. Like this little guy here on the side here. Alright, so I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to put the bolt here, get our heat shield for our muffler on here, and then put our cap, our knob on there, and put our key for our kill right here, and then we'll fire it up. Alright, got the door open. Let's see what we got. Oh, it might help if I turn it on. go throw some snow with it. Well, we got snow. I plowed this morning, but I think right over here. Don't be looking at that little snow machine out there. Don't look at that. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for following along today, getting this little snowblower running again. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, it's just nuts and bolts, and God bless. Bye-bye now. Oh, and Merry Christmas.